endless supply of design inspiration at our fingertips, where do you start in conceiving a concept for your own space? There is no one size fits all when it comes to homes. Every space is different with its own unique character, and zeroing in on that is where you will find your starting point. What are the home's origins? What is its location? How do you describe the quality of natural light in your space? And who are you designing the space for? Start with research. Knowing what you like is key to creating a space with confidence, and this can only come from doing your due diligence. Seek out design inspiration from a wide range of sources, because when you only seek inspiration from the same kind, you're limiting your options. In addition to interiors magazines, Pinterest, Instagram, and all of your online resources, borrow some design books from the library. Commercial spaces like retail stores and restaurants are also really good places to seek inspiration because they push the design boundaries. We recently renovated 3 bedrooms at my sister's house, and I'm going to use it as a case study to take you through my thought process in coming up with the colour schemes. A quirky 70s building built into a hill with 180-degree views of the Gold Coast coastline. It's home to a young, busy family of 4 who use the ocean to its fullest. In these bedrooms, I wanted to pay respect to the 70s origins of the home, make the spaces more suitable for modern living, and celebrate the coastal lifestyle of its occupants. Let's start with the master bedroom. This room is saturated in natural light to the point that it was actually glary. So I wanted a deep colour in here to help tone it down. The master bedroom mirrors the colours of the coastline in a very literal way, from the rich blue and emerald green of the deep water to the aqua shallows. The vibrant blue sky and the sandy shores have all been referenced. The wall colour needed to be deep and not bright to feel sophisticated. I often like to use those in-between colours that are not necessarily easy to define, because I find in the decorating process it can just give me so many more options. In here we went with a deep blue-green colour, which I felt opened up my options in making my other colour selections. I very literally used a day at the beach as my colour inspiration. I don't normally apply inspiration so literally, but this particular day was perfect, and the combinations of colours was magic. Nature doesn't get it wrong. I used a photo of the scene to capture the colours with the Taubman's Colorsmith app and manipulated the shade until it was the right depth. I didn't want it to appear teal, and because you never know how a colour will react until it's in the space, I sampled quite a few shades before landing on one I called Deep Seas. My approach to colour is to saturate the space, which I achieve by using various shades within the one family. If I'd contrasted this deep wall colour with whites and beiges, I would have ended up with a very different feel. In fact, it could have quickly looked too classical, which is not what I wanted for this style of home. The pattern in the custom bed feels like summer, and I use the colours in it to help pull together my other choices, like the seafoam coloured quilt cover, and the fabric of the bench seat, and the blue of the linen curtain. I even made sure the artwork in here added to the saturation of the colour, and the huge round mirror is effective at reflecting the pattern of the bedhead, as well as filling out a large wall. I always feel like colour sings louder when paired with deep, rich timbers. And this home was built in the 70s when walnut timbers dominated interiors, so the dark timber grain joinery pays homage to that. The large, dark cane bedside tables are so versatile. They could be used in a more traditional space, but in here they bring a coastal 70s vibe, which I love. Down the hall is my nephew's room. This is the bedroom of a boy who doesn't stop moving. He's either surfing, skating, fishing, or playing footy. The space needed to mirror that energy without feeling hectic. This room is on the same side of the house as the master bedroom and gets nearly identical quality of light. Again, a saturated colour helps tone down the bright light without going as moody as the master. The powder blue of the wall feels fresh and has just the slightest undertone of green in it, which prevents it looking like the typically baby blue we associate with baby boy rooms. I actually have a kimono in a vibrant blue that I love. I used it to create my colour in here using the Colorsmith app, which just goes to show you can find inspiration anywhere. I called it BB Blue. Where we incorporated full height VJ boards in the master bedroom, in the kids' rooms we did half height, which created a narrow ledge to display little collectibles or even some books. These aren't huge bedrooms. This one is in fact quite narrow, so keeping all walls in the one colour is key to create a sense of calm and cohesion. You might be tempted to do white on a wall like this, where the materials vary, but you need to ask yourself for what purpose. I always love pairing light blues with deeper blues like a navy. It just keeps the room tonal without being boring. The wallpaper in here was actually a late addition, but I just felt like these rooms needed another layer of pattern. I believe the pattern references the Japanese wave, but I love that it doesn't look like a typical wave symbol as we know it. The striped navy bed cover I had custom made. Stripes are my go-to for their timelessness. They will age well with a child, well into teenhood and beyond. And they also provide a pattern that is easy to pair back with other patterns. We carried the same timber grain laminate joinery throughout all bedrooms to create consistency, and we were just able to fit in a little homework nook. A room is never finished without those personal touches. Hanging the timber surfboard and the vintage lures and the fish art adds personality to the space by referencing the personality of the little boy occupying the room. The wall light references the mid-century origins of the home and can also swing between bedside light and desk light, making it super functional. A space isn't complete without a little splash of vintage, so instead of buying all new furniture, we sourced a mid-century armchair and had it recovered in a bronze fish pattern fabric. And the vintage desk chair is actually a family hand-me-down that we had recovered in leather offcuts. On the flip side of the home and the flip side of the light spectrum is my niece's bedroom. A vibrant 9-year-old girl who knows what she likes, a collector and a tinkerer. It backs onto a covered courtyard, making it a very low light space. These are difficult spaces to work with because low light often makes a space feel cold. They therefore benefit from warm colours and warm materials to give life. These are the spaces where you want to create a warm hug. These are also the spaces where you typically want to avoid white walls. No kind of white in here is going to do what it is that white is designed to do, and that is to create brightness and lightness. And that's because white needs natural light to bounce off to do its job. This is where you always need some level of colour on the walls. I initially set out to do a warm pink on the walls in here, but once I got into the space, the light had this really interesting golden glow to it. So I worked with that and decided a yellow seemed to make the most sense. Getting a yellow right is tricky. I needed it to be buttery, not lemony, because my lack of light would make an insipid yellow fall flat. Basically, I needed enough depth in the yellow without it appearing too gold. You see my dilemma. I used a tile I had as my starting point, captured it with the Colorsmith app and played around with the intensity. I went through quite a few samples on the wall before I could settle on a shade I called Caramello. With the combination of the pink and yellow together, this space has the highest contrast in colour of all 3 bedrooms, which I think it needs due to its low light. When putting two contrasting colours together, I think the key is in making sure the depth of the two colours is similar. It's just about playing around. Ordering samples where you can and testing them in the space is the only way to harness confidence in your decisions. I sampled a few different wallpapers in here, and this one reflected the right tones, but also the pattern was small scale and highly repetitive, which makes it easier to work in other patterns into the space. The desk cum bench seat adds much needed storage and is super functional. The vintage rug keeps the space tonal, but also adds to the much needed warmth. I've included a ticking stripe in the bench seat cushion for pattern that won't date or tire. The pink trim gives it just enough contrast and punch and also helps tie it all together. The pops of rattan tie back to the other rattan furniture items in the home. The pink tones in the surfboard print reference the coastal aspect of the home, but in a much more subtle way than in her brother's room. And the framed dress was a gift sent to my niece from her auntie in Canada. It's made from an embroidered tea towel, and whilst it's not something she could wear forever, when framed, she can hang it forever and keep it well loved. When it comes to selecting colour schemes for your spaces, it's all about context. Because all our homes are so different, there is no one size fits all, which to me is the beauty of the process. Have fun with it. You've got no one to impress but yourself.